could drive me through a river for all I know.
They came for me. They hunted me down, in person and by telephone, in the open and by stealth. It all started with a chance meeting. You are like us, they said. You live in our world. You share our joy and our pain. I am not like you, I said. I am different. No, they said. Be with us. Be part of us.
And the staff of the archetypal care home staff. And, it's just, you ask them to pick a resident, so they always pick the most disabled one they can. And I've got to wade through all this, and I know the residents at the hill, or lots of them. And I sort of say, and they say, well, you can't do it, can you, Chris? Because they don't communicate at all. And I say, well, they don't communicate, you can't even tell yes or no, or whether they're happy or sad? Not in most cases, no.
It's just not true.
And I say, are you telling me that that's true for what percentage of the residents? And I know it's not true. I mean, it may be true for one or two, but I actually don't believe, personally, I don't believe it's true for anybody. I have never seen anybody who wasn't in a coma, who didn't register pleasure and displeasure.
And so they came, some twitching, some incoherent, clattering metal, communicating by gestures in the air, some on 2 legs, others on 3 or 4, some running on silent rubber wheels.
Trouble is, if I thought they'd ever thought about it that far. But then I just go, oh, I don't know,
the glorious M6.
what I want to scream at, I do actually. I always give a really hard thing that, so what would happen if you weren't here? What would happen if you didn't do the things you do for these people? They all go quiet. I go, what would happen to them? And then you go, yes, they would die, wouldn't they? They would all die if you weren't here to feed them. So why do we only go halfway? Why is it okay to keep people alive, but not to let them have much fun?
At first, I resisted. They took me to meet others of their kind. They showed me my own experience reflected in a glass of their own making. It is not your fault, they said. This is being done to you. Be one of us. Join us.
And it's like I've always got a little spat with them as well at some point, because I will say, what's getting in the way? Well, it's a disability, Chris. They can't do it. They go, I know 20 wheelchair users who go to the cinema all the time. Yeah? Would you like me to name them? I know 20 other wheelchair users, probably some of the ones who lived here, who don't go when they want to.
They took me to our cities, sometimes in chains, to expose injustice and discrimination. They made me see that we share common cause with others. They made me study the law.
It's partly they're so fucking miserable about everything except smoking, which they are passionate about.
And I began to see things differently in my head and through my eyes. I began to understand what I am, what I must be. I was inspired by them. I loved them. I became one of them, proud to be part of the disabled people's movement.